We are going to go to Tracy Glynn. She is the co-founder and coordinating editor of the New Brunswick Media Co-op. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, Blair. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about the New Brunswick Media Co-op?
For sure. The New Brunswick Media Co-op was founded 14 years ago. So we've actually bucked the trend of media co-ops or independent media being around for only 10 years. We're still going, and we formed out of our founders were rooted in various social movements in New Brunswick. They were environmental activists, Indigenous land defenders, labor unions, anti-poverty advocates, and we all realized that we had one common problem, and that was the fact that that Irving controlled most of the media as well as New Brunswick's main industries: energy, forestry, trucking. So we felt that even if it was a different Irving company, that these companies were not telling the stories that needed to be told, and we felt that a corporation is not going to cover itself in a critical light, and it's not going to give voice to its critics. So we decided to form a co-op because we felt too that was the most democratic way of producing media, and so we have a growing membership where people pay between. Maybe it's $5 to $100 a month or $30 a year, and they have a say in the goings on of the media co-op and what we're covering. And we encourage people to write for us. And we do have, it's quite clear if you're a reader of the MB Media Co-op that we do have a bias, just like any media outlet has, and we are. And it's for social justice. So we approach our stories with an anti-oppressive lens, where we try to get to the root of our social problems.
Right. So you wear your bias on your sleeve to a certain extent.
Yes. And we feel that that's important to do. I don't think any media needs to shy away from that. I think there are problems when media says that they don't have a bias. It's quite clear when you read any editorial from a media outlet what that bias is, and so it's important to. I think, for us anyway, for the past few years, we've been quite critical of the corporations that exist in our province, making the connections to the climate crisis, the affordability crisis. Why is it that New Brunswick is one of the poorest provinces in the country, while we have billionaires in the province?
Can I ask you, is this something that is making sense financially? I'm not totally familiar with your structure, but for instance, can someone earn a living writing for you?
Yeah, so we're at a point now where we have one reporter who's making a living for us, but we want to continue growing, where we get to a point where we can employ several journalists and at a living wage too. We know that across the country, Post Media has been buying up newspapers and shutting them down, laying off reporters, and this is not a good situation for the folks who produce the news as well as the folks that are consuming the news. And so we do have that. Because we are a co-op and we are very much pro-worker, where we want to make sure that we're paying a living wage, that we're living up to the principles, our principles that we are also writing about in our media.
So, do people who want to check out your content, they can just go to your website? Do they have to pay for it, or can they read it for free?
It is really important for us that our content is free. So there are no advertisements. We are not. We are against that. We want to make sure that that we are not beholden to any corporate interests at all. So folks can go to mbmediacoop.org, and there are like I said, we do have a growing readership where people are looking for stories that are going deeper, trying to get to the heart of the affordability crisis. For example, why people are struggling to pay rent. People are deciding between paying rent and buying food or medicine, and then when we look at some of the corporate media out there, like Big Pharma speaking out against our national pharmacare program, for example, that could benefit folks across this country who've never been able to afford their medicine. This is just one example of some of the stories that we're able to provide more of the lived experience as well as the voice to the experts that is really important as we head into an election in New Brunswick as well as the federal election.
All right, Tracy Glynn with the NB Media Co-op. Thanks for being on Maritime Connection.
Well, thanks so much for having me.